Brethren, I pray you sing a new song. Sing praise in the assembly of the righteous. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let the high praise of God be on the mouths of the saints and a two-edged sword in their hands to execute vengeance on the demonic nations and punishments on those peoples, to bind their kings with chains. Dishonor have all his saints. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Sing to him a new song.
God, first and foremost, we're going to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Hamashiach, Yahushua, Brother Debar, Brother Jeremiah,
God, of Samar,
Brother Haran.
God, and we coming at you with another lesson. This lesson right here is going to be entitled, The Lord is Our Strength. We're doing a little quick lesson. You know, we on the road, about to go put in the work. But this lesson right here is going to be on The Lord is Our Strength. And we talking about physically and spiritually, the Lord is our strength.
God.
And we see that from time and time again that the Lord has always defended us. You know, whether we deal with, you know, in the flesh or we deal with spiritual things that goes on in our mind, the Most High God always finds a way for us to escape. And it goes back to even with our forefathers, man. And our forefathers already knew that the Lord was going to fight for us. You know? So let's get a couple precepts to prove it. Lord willing, this will be short. Get 1 Maccabees 3 and 1.
All right, I got it. 1 Maccabees.
So first, though, we're going to get the physical side of it. The Lord literally fought for us, man. And when I say literally fought for us, he used us as vessels to be more powerful than what we truly are.
God, in this 1 Maccabees, chapter 3 and 1, it says, Then his son Judas, called Maccabeus, rose up in his stead, and all his brethren helped him, and so did all they that held with his father. And they fought with cheerfulness the battle of Israel.
So they was not afraid at all because they knew that the Lord was on their side. So this is going back to the Maccabees, where the Greek Empire was being destroyed, and it got overcame. And at the end of the day, it got destroyed horribly. And they had the Spirit of the Most High God on them. They said, "We gonna take back everything that we lost." And they did that through the power and the Spirit of the Most High God. They did not do it because of themselves, or it wouldn't even have gotten that far if you really think about it. So let's continue though.
God.
So I'm just bringing it up.
God. Verse 3 says, So he gat his people great honor, and put on a breastplate as a giant,
right,
and girt his warlike harness about him, and he made battles, protecting the host with his sword.
So the Spirit was put on him to, hey, we gonna defend our people. We gonna die for our people. He put on the breastplate as a giant, man. He felt like he was untouchable. That was the Lord putting that on him. So continue.
It says, in his axe, he was like a lion. It's like in his axe, he was like a lion, and like a lion's whelp roaring for his prey.
Right.
For he pursued the wicked,
right,
and sought them out, and burned up those that vexed his people.
Right.
Wherefore the wicked shrunk for fear of him.
Right, and it's all the Most High God who they really shrunk for fear of, because they thought that they overcame in them. The Greeks thought that they overcame the Maccabees, and they thought that was it. But the Spirit of the Lord came upon Judas, called Maccabees, the son, and he gathered up people through the Spirit of the Most High God, and they came back and took everything back. And that's what this is going into. Continue that part.
It says, and all the workers of iniquity were troubled, because salvation prospered in his hands.
So who the only one that brings forth salvation, man? The Most High God is the only one that brings forth salvation. So we know who it was, and they understood that. So drop down to verse 19, and it's going to tell you.
Verse 19 says, For the victory of the battle standeth not in the multitude of an host, but strength cometh from heaven.
Right, so they understood it's not about how many people it is, man. It's about the strength that comes from above, the Most High God, the true and living God at the end of the day. And the Gideon and the 300, that was a prime example of the strength coming from above. It was 300 men, and they killed off 12,000 men and ended up getting to the two kings and killed the two kings. So our strength comes from above, man. We don't have to worry about Esau or the rest of the nations coming for us and conquering us, man, because our strength comes from the Most High God.
I got quick something. This is Second Chronicles chapter 14 and verse 9. This is going into King Asa. It says that there came out against them Zerah the Ethiopian with an host of 1,000 and 300 chariots, and came unto Marshah. And I looked it up. I think 1,000 is a million. I think that's what it is. It's a million.
You talk about that in Revelations too.
Kind. It says, then Asa went out against him, and they set the battle in array in the valley of Zephtahah at Marshah. Verse 11, and Asa cried unto the Lord his God, and said, Lord, it is nothing with thee to help, whether with many or with them that have no power. He said, it's nothing to help, Lord. It's literally nothing for you. Because is there anything too hard for the Most High God? God forbid it's not. It says, help us, O Lord our God, for we rest on thee, and in thy name we go against this multitude. O Lord, thou art our God, let not man prevail against thee. Hold on, let me get this quick precept. He said, in thy name. This is Proverbs chapter 20, Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 10. It says, the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. So Asa called on the name of the Lord. He ran into the Lord's name and was safe. Let's keep reading. It says, verse 12, it says, so the Lord smote the Ethiopians before Asa and before Judah, and the Ethiopians fled. So the things that the Ethiopians had, they had many chariots, they had many men, they had great valor men, they had all that. But I'm going to get this precept in Proverbs 10 and 10. It's a lot. It might be 21. Hey, you know that one where it says the horse? Okay, kind of. It's Proverbs 21 and 31. It's kind of going into the same thing that he brought out in Maccabees. This is Proverbs 21:31. It says the horse is prepared against the day of battle. So the horse represents strength. It represents might. If you had more horsemen, then you most likely was going to win that battle. It's a strong advantage. It's a strong advantage to have, because you can look down on somebody, get them. You got a vantage point. You can see hard things. And you see all that. It's harder to hit you there, hit your horse before they hit you. It says the horse is prepared against the day of battle, but safety is of the Lord. And ultimately, everything's come down to the Most High. What is your lot? The Most High choose that. Are you going to call upon the name of the Lord and find strength? Or, are you going to be a carnal man and do it on your own? But safety is of the Lord.
I'm going to grab this quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, this is Deuteronomy 23 and 14. It says, for the Lord thy God walketh in the midst of thy camp to deliver thee and to give up thy enemies before thee. Therefore shall thy camp be holy, that he see no unclean thing in thee and turn away from thee. That's what you want to write?
So, and this is the importance of keeping your camp clean, keeping your body clean. It says, read that part again.
God, it says, God walketh in the midst of thy camp.
So the Most High God walks in the midst of our camp to deliver us from our enemy.
Therefore shall thy camp be holy.
Therefore shall our camp be holy.
That he see no unclean thing in thee.
And how is it holy? By it being no unclean thing in us, right? So we can't go and defile ourselves with unclean things. If we want the Most High God to fight for us, like these brothers are bringing out, we gotta consistently meditate on His law to find out what's clean and what's not clean, right? So you want the Most High God to fight for you. So you gotta, in order for Him to do that, you gotta be holy and righteous and set apart, be sanctified.
Right, so, and that's kind of like the spiritual side of it and the physical side of it. Because the spiritual side is you got to be clean and holy to the Most High God in order for Him to deliver you spiritually and physically, man. That's very important, man, to make yourself clean and holy like the Lord called you to be. Clean and holy, right? So let's get some more. You got something up?
Love.
All right, so let's get Psalms 18 right quick. Can you get Psalms 18? Because, like I said, man, all of our forefathers knew this already. So why the hell don't we know this as a nation? Why do we call on the gods of the other nations? Why do we call on Cesare Borgia? Why do we call on these other gods when we got the true and living God and He's ready to fight for us at the end of the day? And King David knew it. Gideon knew it. All our forefathers knew it. The Maccabees knew it. We knew this. And And we held dear to this. Even if we had to die, we still knew the Lord, it was the Lord's judgment, and the Lord had our back, man. Because some things we do deserve. Right? So let's get that. Psalms 18 and start at verse 3.
God.
And
Psalms 18.
we just gonna pick through Psalms a little bit.
God. Psalms chapter 18 and verse 3.
Right?
It says, I will call upon the Lord who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from my enemies.
Right, and we know King David had enemies round about him. His arch enemy was the Philistines, but he had all the enemies. They all joined up with the Philistines to try to overthrow David in the kingdom.
God.
So drop down to verse. So he tells you, so shall I be saved from my enemies. He knew it wasn't him who was being saved. I mean, he knew it wasn't him who was saving himself. Guns and his knives and grenades and all these things is not going to save you. It's the Most High God who's going to save you. You can have all the guns that you want, man, but you got to depend on the Most High God. So drop down to verse
17.
Yeah, 17.
Verse 17 says, he delivered me from my strong enemy.
Right. So David is calling his enemies strong. They was more mightier than him, more taller than him. They was, hey, go ahead though.
It says, he delivered me from my strong enemy and from them which hated me, for they were too strong for me.
So David is confessing. He like, hey man, they too strong for me, but the Lord delivered me. How did we overcome them? How did we beat them? He understood it was the Most High God. And the captain, he told me something a long time ago. He said, and I believe this dearly, he said, it don't matter who's fighting. Whoever win that battle, that's whose side the Lord is on. So you got to understand that and take that into consideration, man. If you lose a battle because the Lord wanted you to lose, it might be a lesson learned from it.
Here, I want to add on to that. This is going back to the giants. We had to go conquer the giants. Remember that? I'm going to read this. This is Baruch 3 and 26. It says, there were the giants famous from the beginning that were of so great stature and so expert in war. So these men were great in stature and great in war. These were the men that you did not want to go against. But the Most High, he only used that to test their faith. He was seeing where their faith was at. So if they didn't want to go out, all right, keep walking in the wilderness until y'all ready. Verse 25. Those did not the Lord choose, neither gave he the way of knowledge unto them, but they were destroyed because they had no wisdom and perished through their own foolishness. So the Most High, like I said, the Most High is working with us. He chose us. He's choosing a select few of men that's showing that faith. Because in this walk, you gotta have you gotta be a valiant man in the faith. You gotta be a strong man. You gotta be a soldier of the Most High. You know, you gotta be that physically and spiritually. You can't just be sitting around here just not doing nothing on a physical level and expect to be straight when all hell breaks loose. You can't expect that. If you can barely, you know, go a couple miles and you already done, something shaky. You know, but on the spiritual level, if you can barely go a couple miles in the faith and not endure something shaky, you're not a valiant man. David carried a select few of men with him on his right hand to keep him close. Two lion, they slay two lion-like men.
Of Moab.
And then after that, go slay a lion.
Right, it talk about the mighty men that King David had underneath him, and it was mostly men of Judah. And it talks about, I believe it's like in 2 Samuel, the 18th chapter. It's around there, and it describes to you all of the men that he had underneath him, and when he passed away, they was all given to Solomon. And these men, he tells you, a one man slew like 300 men when it's just by himself. Some of the men broke David out of the hands of his enemies and got him out of that jail. Like he said, the two mighty men of Moab, like lion-like men. That's how they were described, lion-like men. And then what they do, they went down, and then he went down in the snow and killed the lion. Mighty men like that. And we get scared of dogs. We running down the street from pit bulls, right? I hope that dog don't get out the gate. These men were slaying lions. David slew a lion because it grabbed one of the flocks, one of the sheep. You would have let the sheep go. I want to grab this real quick. This is 2 Timothy chapter 2. Hey, you would have let it go and be like, I'm using wisdom. David went down there, pulled him from out of his jaws and saved the sheep. Hey, this is 2 Timothy 2 and 3. 2 Timothy 2 and 3 says, thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Hamashiach Yahushua. He said you have to endure hardness as a good soldier. That if you calling yourself a soldier or anything, you have to make sure you're enduring the pain, man. You have to make sure you're actually moving like a soldier. Right, we're going back to you, unless you want to go back to Psalms 18.
I got one quick precept.
All right,
Yeah, we're gonna go back to Psalms 18:9.
This is Ecclesiastes 8:1. It says, "Who is as the wise man, and who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom maketh his face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed." When you get in this truth and you start figuring out wisdom, you start figuring out the faith in the aspect of how the Most High work, your boldness is gonna change. You're gonna become a different man. You're gonna start to fear less and be more bold in the face of danger.
Where you take on the lion.
Exactly. You say the wicked flee when no man pursues, but the righteous are as bold as a lion. Go ahead.
In the spirit.
God. So let's go back to Psalms right quick. And beautiful points, beautiful scriptures, man.
You want me to go to 40?
Now we're gonna go. Yeah, exactly.
God, this is Psalms
That's the spirit
chapter.
right there. He know exactly where I'm going. He know exactly where I'm going, man. All praises though. Man.
God. Psalms chapter 18 and 40, it says,
Right.
"Thou hast also given me the necks of my enemies, that I might destroy them that hate me."
So, like once again, he's acknowledging that the Lord have gave him the necks of his enemies. He didn't do it on his own. They probably had all the artillery they needed, the armor. They probably had everything they needed, but he still understood that it was the Lord who delivered them. It was the Lord who gave him the necks of the enemies. And that goes along with whoever win that battle, man, that's who the Lord wanted to win. It's like, how do we lose against Esau?
Right.
We stronger than them. We mightier than them. We better than them. We play sports better than them. We prove on a daily basis that we're stronger and better than them. How did we get conquered by them? Because the Lord wanted them to win. He put his spirit on them to make them to work hard and get more fierceness in their tactics, man. And it overcame us at the end of the day. So let's continue though.
God. Verse 41 says, "They cried, but there was none to save them, even unto the Lord, but he answered them not."
The Most High God is the one who saves, man. Just like he's going to save us. And that's how David acknowledged that, man. Go ahead,
Hey, I want to touch on that too. It says, our enemies cried. And what did Esau do? He sought the birthright carefully with tears, but the Most High answered them not. Right? And that's kind of what it goes into. Once we was taking over our enemies and had them in derision, right? Had them stuck, had them jammed up. Hey, the Most High answered them not. Right? Because ultimately, whoever wins that battle, like the brother said, like the captains always say, the Most High God is on that man's side. It's on that nation's side. Whether it be against a man or whether it be done against the nation. Right? You want me to keep going? The whole chapter is crazy.
Right,
but we can go for the second time.
Yeah. So let's go to chapter 44 now.
Now that's what I was.
44 and start at 4.
All right,
Got something too.
I'm waiting for it now.
You want me to start at where?
4.
Okay, come on. This is Psalms chapter 44 and verse 4. It says, "Thou art my king, O God. Command deliverances for Jacob."
So when you going through something, should be the same thing we saying. You being as an Israelite, this should be the same thing you should be saying. You are my king. You're the true and living God. Deliver me from this situation. This is what we should be doing as the children of Israel. Because our strength comes from above. The heathen's strength is in their weapons and stuff. Even though we still pulverize them, man.
Right.
Our strength comes from above. But let's continue.
Verse 5 says, "Through thee will we push down our enemies.
Right?
Through thy name will we tread them under that rise up against us."
So this right here shows through the spirit, you gotta have a true and living name, man. You can't be calling on Jesus and saying God or Jehovah and think you're gonna be delivered, man.
Right.
It says through thee, through thy name will we tread them under that rise up against us.
Verse 6 says, "For I will not trust in my bow."
I'm not gonna trust in no bow. I'm not gonna trust in no AR-15. I'm not gonna trust in no pistol, no shotgun, no grenades, no rocket launchers. I don't give a damn how many grenades I got. I'm not gonna trust in that kind of stuff, man. Go ahead.
It says, "Neither shall my sword save me,
Right.
but thou hast saved us from our enemies and hast put them to shame that had hated us."
Hey, man, it's all the Most High God, man. You can't stress that enough. It's all the Most High God.
Con.
And we can't boast ourselves in that situation thinking just because you beat up a nigga bigger than you or whatever the case is that it's of you.
Con.
But go ahead.
It says,
Read that last part again. I got to precept.
it says, but thou hast saved us from our enemies and hast put them to shame that hated us.
Con. This is 2 Chronicles chapter 20 and verse 20. It says, and they rose early in the morning and went forth into the wilderness of Tekoa. And as they went forth, Jehoshaphat stood and said, hear me, O Judah, and ye inhabitants of Jerusalem. It says, believe in the Lord your God, so shall ye be established. And that's how we get established, by having faith. If we establish, well, if we believe, we're going to be established. That's us going and conquering these other nations. He's going to establish us a kingdom. And then it says, believe his prophets, so shall ye prosper. And the prophets, what do the prophets do? They seek the secrets. They go out and tell you how to walk as a wise man. But the Most High is the one that giveth that increase. But you got to know how to get the increase. You got to know how to see what the Most High wants.
Teaching the true name.
Exactly. And then I'm going to jump to verse 29. This will let you know that everything is of the Lord. It says, and the fear of the fear of God was on all the kingdoms of those countries when they had heard that the Lord fought against the enemies of Israel. It says when they had heard, all the nations of the other countries heard that the Lord fought against Israel. Not against Israel, so like that the Lord fought against the enemies of Israel. Not that Israel fought against the enemies, but the Lord had fought against the enemies.
Real quick, I want to elaborate on this. So Officer Al-Haran, he always say this, right? Every now and then I hear him say this. He'd be like, look, whenever we used to fight other people, other nations, we would say we actually destroyed and overcame their God and who they believed in, right? We destroyed and overcame their God. Whenever we overtook a nation and had them in derision, we would say that we beat their God. Our God was strong.
So a lot of times it's in our songs too. When you go back into the Old Testament, they singing praises that we conquered the enemy or whoever we fought against. So it was in our songs too that, you know, we beat somebody, right, or the Most High fought on our side. Hey, and it was our reputation too. Our reputation was that the Most High God was on our side, and they knew this. So when you read in the Apocrypha, they wanted to just to get us to sin against our God, just to do one sin against our God, and they knew that they would have us. You know what I'm saying? So that was our reputation.
That's that Judah.
Yeah. Right, 4 and 20. I was about to say that. But it gets deeper than that, man. If you really think about it, it's the Lord, it's gods versus gods, man. If you really look at it.
Exactly.
Our God versus their gods. You know, but our God, we, like the scriptures say, man, we have the true and living God. The gods of the nations are idols, man. Fake.
God.
The true and living God, man. But let's continue, though. Let's go to...
hey, let me finish this out right here in 44.
Yeah, 40.
This is 44, Psalms 44 and 8. It says, in God we boast all the day long and praise thy name forever. Salah. Right? So that's something that we doing, man. We boast in our God forever, man. All day long, man. We can never go too far with that. God, where we at?
We can go to you got something? All right, so let's go to Luke 1. Let's go to the New Testament, man, because like I said, throughout the whole Bible, our forefathers knew this. So now we're coming back into the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Bible. We understand this now too, man. The only thing that's going to deliver us is the Most High God. It tells you that in the curses. It says, you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. That means redeem us, save us. Nobody's going to do it but the Lord. And this is a perfect example because nobody have saved us. People tried all day long, but they're not the Lord. And the Lord is not going to allow that to happen because that will make you greater than the Lord. And that's why he had the Lord allows Esau to mow them down. All right, Con, you got that? Luke 1.
Con.
And let's start at 60. Let's start at 68.
All right, Con. This is the book of Luke, chapter 1 and verse 68. Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people.
And he always have delivered us and saved us from the heathens, man. Always. He have never failed us. Have anybody ever called him a Lord and was found? Nobody was. He always delivered us. So he will deliver you in these times too. But he's not going to deliver you calling yourself black or African American or niggas, man. We We are the children of Israel. That's who he always saved. He didn't save nobody else. But let's continue though.
Khan, verse 69, and have raised up an horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David.
Right? Go ahead.
As he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been before the world began.
Right, so he always sent out the prophets to prophesy, like the brother said earlier, to the name of the Lord, that he was going to save us, but we got to return back to him. Many different things that we do as prophets, servants of the Most High. Right, so let's continue.
Verse 71, that we should be saved from our enemies.
Why we can't save ourselves? We know we better than them. We know we stronger than them. We mightier than them. You do not see on a high rate Esau in the ring beating up Jake, man. You don't see it. So why can't we overcome them? Because we waiting on something. We waiting on the Lord to save us. The Lord is our strength and salvation. Go ahead.
That we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us.
Right. So it's like I said, man, it's a physical side and it's a spiritual side of it. You know, the spiritual side is praying to the Most High God on a daily basis, telling the Most High God what you want. And like we're gonna do a lesson soon over fasting, man. Fasting breaks the yokes of wickedness, and it also gets your prayers answered if you're dealing with certain situations. That's the spiritual side of it. There's a physical side and there's a spiritual side of it. So y'all got something?
God, real quick, I want to touch on prayer. Anytime something happened, you need to use that tool. You need to use prayer to your advantage, to your benefit, right? Especially if you're a God-fearing man who keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. That's not something that everybody else got. That's something that we got, and we have to give place to that. And this is how you strengthen your faith. You pray about it, and then your prayers gets answered. Whether it's a small thing, a medium thing, or a big thing, you gotta utilize that tool that's in your toolbox, right? Don't wait for a whole damn day to pray about it. As soon as it happens, as soon as you get a moment, as soon as you get a chance, throw up a prayer. As soon as you can, so them spirits can hop off you. And when you pray, you can literally feel that burden and them demons and them spirits fleeing from your body, man. So y'all got to get in the spirit, man. Use that tool. Use prayer. Hey, don't sleep on that. Go ahead, Adi.
Hey, and that's the Lord fighting them demons for you.
He gonna fight your battles.
Good versus evil. That's what it's all about, man. You want to be evil. You want to be good. Who you want to fight for you? You want to let marijuana and drugs fight for you, or you want to let the Most High God fight for you?
It's like it. And don't let them demons sit in your damn mind and in your conscience in your temple, and they starting to get comfortable. They at home and shit. Don't do that. Right? Get them off you as fast as you can. Right? Go ahead, Adi.
All right, Con. So let's get one more on the physical side. Let's get Deuteronomy 20. Let's start at verse 1.
Here, I got it.
All right, Con.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 20 and verse 1.
Right.
It says, when thou goest out to battle against thine enemies, and seest horses, and chariots, and a people more than thou, be not afraid of them, for the Lord thy God is with thee, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt.
Hey, and that goes for when we take the kingdom, man. It's the same mindset we gonna have. You ain't about to die. The Lord about to make sure that we overcome them in totality. It's going to be like an easy battle. Why? Because it's the Lord taking over. It's the Lord who's actually fighting. But go ahead.
It says, and it shall be when ye are come nigh unto the battle,
Right? When you ready to fight them. Go ahead.
that the priest shall approach and speak unto the people,
Right?
and shall say unto them, Hear, O Israel, ye approach this day unto battle against your enemies.
Right? And we know that the priest is the spokesman of the Lord. Right? So this is what the Lord told the priest to tell us every time we went to battle. Go ahead.
It says, Let not your hearts faint,
Right?
fear not,
Right?
and do not tremble.
Don't be scared of these niggas, man. And I'm talking about the heathen. Do not be scared. They the real niggas. Don't be scared of these niggas. Go ahead.
It says, Neither be ye terrified because of them.
Right.
For the Lord your God is he that goeth with you to fight for you against your enemies to save you.
So the Most High God is fighting these battles. The Most High God is going to deliver us. He's going to save us out of these battles, man. You're not going to save yourself. So let's. You got something? Yeah, go ahead.
All right, this is Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 17. Classic chapter. Deuteronomy 7 and 17. It says, If thou shalt say in thine heart, if the Israelites say in their heart, if they say it in their mind, if thou shalt say in thy heart, these nations are more than I. How can I dispossess them? So if you walking around saying that these other nations are greater than you,
Right.
how can the Most High fight your battles for you if you don't even believe in him? Right? Let me grab one more. This is Deuteronomy 32 and 30. Classic. Deuteronomy 32 and 30. How should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight, except the rock had sold them and the Lord had shut them up? Ultimately, how could you put all of these men to flight? How could two fight 10,000 men except the Most High God was on their side, man? And I'm going to yield and give it back to you.
Hey, 300 versus 12,000.
12,000, man.
That is unheard of, man. Why? Because we know that that's the Lord, man. But go ahead, though. Let's get this last precept.
Con, this is Philippians 1 and 27. It says, only let your conversation be as it becometh the gospel of Christ, that whether I come and see you or else be absent, I may hear of your affairs, that ye stand fast in one spirit with one mind, striving together for the faith of the gospel. So the context is the gospel right now. It says, and in nothing terrified by your adversaries, which is to them an evident token of perdition, which means the gospel is an evident token to them of destruction.
For them.
Exactly. It says, but to you of salvation and that of God.
So get that last precept.
All right, this is Sirach chapter 43 and 30. Sirach chapter 43 and 30 says, when ye glorify the Lord, exalt him as much as ye can, for even yet will he far exceed. And when ye exalt him, put forth all your strength, and be not weary, for ye can never go far enough.
So, man, Lord willing, somebody was edified with this lesson. The Lord is our strength. The Lord is going to fight for us. He is our salvation, man. So all we got to do is do the work. Put in your work, man. Do your videos. Go out to camp. Make your body a living sacrifice, man, for your people. And wait on the Lord at the end of the day, man. That's all we waiting on. We waiting on our salvation. We waiting on our Savior to fight for us. So with that, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shah, and the 12 tribes that are doing this work in truth and sincerity. Death to America. Shalom wa barak mashpaka.
Shalom.
Shalom.